So, I want to talk about this new trend of female influencers on YouTube calling out the patriarchy and getting really famous and good engagement, especially from women, and why it's working. Because let's start with this theory of mine. There are at least two kinds of people. There could be more, but two kinds of people. The first group is the one which is okay with um, the abuse of women and children and other men, and they don't care as long as they're fine. And they believe in victim blaming and shaming and being enablers and being with the people that are powerful. And the second group is most of victims and the support system who don't like the system, who don't believe anybody should be abused, who want women and children and other good men to be safe, and they can see the double standards. They want to see the double standards. They want to call out this hatred towards um, women and children and other human beings. So, so far, we have lived in a society where we were pretending everything was fine, and anybody was who called out this double standard was a problem maker or was the one to blame, or he or she or they weren't right in the head, they were crazy or whatever. And it worked fine as long as there was no social media, they couldn't find any support system, and it was okay. But and it wasn't like entirely like that. I mean, there is a legal system, and sometimes they might have gotten justice, but mostly it was like this really powerful group and their enablers doing what they do. Okay, so because of the internet is, sometimes it's a bad place because, why? I don't want to go there. But sometimes it's a really good place, because people can actually see the reality live, or people who want to see it, and people can unite who have similar thoughts and ideas and who think it's high time we start treating our women with respect. So when all these influencers with like substance and speak with matter of fact and show the double standards, show this weird patriarchal conditioning that we all have, where we see women and children as second class citizens, where this weird behavior of some men, not all men, is enabled. Um, it it it, it shows the truth, and it helps people around the world to gather in a place and engage with that honest and true conversation that really helps, because it's, for me personally, it was very cathartic because I could see, and growing up, I always thought like, why are some people treated differently? Why are trans women treated differently? Why are regular women treated? Why is this thing? I always wondered, and then you can't ask these questions because it's wrong. So you cannot ask questions, and then you're not supposed to think about it, because somehow, if you think about it, or you call out, or if somebody does something to you, and you as a woman try to ask for help, then you're bad, which never made sense to me because um I don't know. I just thought it was stupid. And now if you look at any comment section of these women, um, there are women sharing their experiences, sharing this universal truth, and seeing this universal pattern. Because I think patriarchy is mostly everywhere except some regions, and seeing the same like deceitful behavior, same lies, same mind game, same manipulation, and it's the same state everywhere. Anybody who um I don't know, like is a victim, or all of this weird conditioning and weird people around them, it they 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 face the consequences. And no matter how good of a person you are, how much you give, it's not always, unless you're like really lucky, it's always I don't know, really bad for you. And then speaking about like, you're not when I was growing up, you're not supposed to ask or like think about it. Like, we know when some people pretend, I've seen this, like they pretend everything is fine, or they have their own logic of victim blaming and shaming, and they don't want to help. I think they're also enablers, because it's this like really bad or toxic spirituality where you're like, oh, you shouldn't talk about it. But my question is, if I don't talk about it, if I don't call it out, how can I solve the problem? And then why are you such a coward? Why are you such a coward that you want me to shut up, not ask questions, but then again you enable this behavior that you're so afraid you don't want to talk, that this systems, this this thing exists, this conditioning exists where women are supposed to do the major work, and if if something happens to anyone, actually, because men are victims too, it's the victim's fault. uh so that doesn't make sense to me. I just think that's a toxic part of spirituality, and they're just enabling the patriarchy by pretending, oh, it doesn't exist and you should be positive and you should focus on the good. No matter how much good I focus on, if subconsciously for generations, for 10,000 years, I've been programmed that being a woman, I'm a second class citizen, and my value lies in how many kids I produce or reproduce, or um how much pain I endure, that's wrong. I don't think no manifestation, or no matter how much positive thinking I do, that brainwashing will go. Or even like seeing around me, seeing in the society, women doing more, way more than men in most households. So that's another thing. But the reason I believe that this is uh this conversation that was like, I would say, long overdue, was because we were pretending everything was fine, and now finally we can talk. Finally we can have honest, empathetic conversations. Finally we can see the entire truth.